Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and I wasn't gonna do this video because I feel like YouTube is just like oversaturated with Shadow and Bone content now, but I haven't even made a Shadow and Bone video ever. I didn't do a trailer reaction, I didn't do a book review or anything, so I asked on my Instagram if you guys wanted this video and a majority of you said yes, so here I am. I have finished the Shadow and Bone show, and I thought I'd chat about my thoughts and my review of the show and chat with you guys and see what your guys' thoughts were of the show as well. I will say, I'm coming in as a fan of the books, but I haven't read them all. So I've only read Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows. I read Six of Crows January of last year, and then I read Shadow and Bone last month. So I am pretty fresh on Shadow and Bone. Not so much on Six of Crows, that I had to message a friend and ask them who this character was because I loved them and I didn't remember them in the books. So that's where I'm at. I'm not a super fan. I did give Six of Crows 5 stars and I gave Shadow and Bone 4 stars. I'm just notoriously bad at finishing any series I start, so I haven't continued on with either of them. Now I really want to finish the rest of the Shadow and Bone series and then reread Six of Crows and then go on to Crooked Kingdom, but I have some things to talk about, and I will say I'm a romance reader. If you're new here, hi, I love romance, so I'm going to be gushing about every single romance in this show because I was obsessed. But first off, I really love the show. I think that the casting was fabulous and that they really embodied all of the really iconic characters like Kaz, Inej, Alina, the Darkling, Mal. We'll get to Mal in a second. But I think just the casting was just incredible, and I saw on Instagram, Leigh Bardugo posted a video of her meeting all of them for the first time, and actual tears came to my eyes because she was so touched. And she was like, this is literally exactly what I imagined when she was writing the characters. And so it was so sad and I loved it so much. But the show, I really thought it was interesting. I didn't know how they were going to mash everything together because they mashed both Shadow and Bone with Six of Crows. I had a hard time liking the Six of Crows storyline for a while. I had a hard time warming up to them because I just remembered loving them so much and I didn't get that same feeling of them when we first met them. But I was also confused because I think the show could have done a better job at explaining where things were, because I'm not that great. The thing that I struggle with fantasy is understanding the complexity of the worlds, where things are, who people are, the relationships between people. And so the fact that we had Alina on this side of the fold, and then I don't know if I'm even right, we had the other Six of Crows people, Kaz, Inej, Jesper, in the other side, and then they were trying to like go to the other sides through the fold. I was kind of confused, and I was confused what the Six of Crows crew was being hired for. I will say I missed the heist from the book. The heist in the book was incredible. Breaking into an unbreakable jail and having these characters' powers that I don't think they even included, because I remember there was a character who could change faces and change people's faces, and that wasn't in the show. So I don't know specifically who they didn't include with the Six of Crows characters because it's been so long since I've read it. I also don't remember Nina, and I don't remember if Nina was in... Someone told me she was in Six of Crows, but I don't remember her. But I do know there were like 4 romances happening in Six of Crows that I was just like, this is my end game. I am obsessed with every single romance that was being hinted at in this book. And I don't remember if Nina was one of them, but we'll get to Nina in a second. So I was interested to see how this like new job was going to be, and I didn't love it at first. It grew on me though. Like by the end, I loved everybody from the Six of Crows books and how it was intertwined with the Shadow and Bone characters. I thought that was really cool, but it took me a while to get to know them because I was very confused who was asking them for what and why, and I still don't know who that guy was that was like hiring them, and then like where they were trying to go and why they were trying to go, because I thought Alina had gotten through the fold and then all of a sudden they were back on the other side. I don't know. I don't remember like where places were, and I think someone on Twitter had said it would have been really cool if they did like a map sequence to show where they were around the fold, so like to transition, show the map and where the fold is and show where you are, because it's such a complex world. It would have been nice to be able to understand where things were better, but I did really enjoy how they ended up intertwining those two storylines by the end. I missed Like I said, the whole Six of Crows heist, they didn't even have it, and I don't know if they will have it or not, but I did like the whole crew. And we didn't really get to know a lot about Kaz, though, I don't think. I feel like we got a little bit about Inej and like where she was from, but we didn't get Kaz's backstory, which we did get in Six of Crows, so I don't know if they'll do that or not. But I love their dynamic together. It was a lot of fun. The scene in the train with the goat and the guns was the best. I loved it. Jesper like went off, and I was just like, you're amazing. He was one of my favorite characters. But what stole the show for me was the romance. So what I think the show did better than the book was really build up Mal and Alina's connection. Someone else, I think it was on Twitter, pointed out that we only got Alina's perspective in the book, in book 1. So it seemed like Mal was very uninterested in her. Like, they were obviously best friends, but it didn't seem like he had any sort of emotional romantic connection to her whatsoever until the end of the book. But in the show, you really, because that was from, backtrack, that was from Alina's perspective, so she really didn't see any connection that he was feeling towards her, and he was like off hooking up with other people. In the show, from the start, you get Mal really seeing her like that already, at least in my perspective. And can we talk about Mal's entrance? The fight scene, I was like, oh, they're doing this. Okay. And you know they're doing it to make us fangirl over Mal. Like, I don't think there was some underground fighting thing in the books. And there was really no purpose of having it in the show except for having a sexy shot of Mal fighting with no shirt on. So immediately I was like, oh, hi Mal, I like you. And I liked him in the book. I will say I really liked Mal in the book, and I liked her with Mal better than the Darkling. I've only read book 1, I will say that. But I really liked how they made Mal like liking Alina, and they're like, oh, so this is Alina, his friends, when like they meet Alina. So I do think they really built up that connection between them a lot better than the book did. But that also made me confused when later on in the show, Mal is like, well, I see you now, Alina. And I'm like, what do you mean now? Like, you've always seen her that way. Why are you saying that now? So I feel like using that line was a little bit confusing, because from the start, I got that vibe that he already liked her and he'd always liked her as more than friends. The Darkling. So I think that the show did a great job of building the chemistry, or the actors did a great job with chemistry between the Darkling and Alina. And you could feel Alina's confusion because she's constantly asking for Mal's letters, and there are none. And she's like, oh, but here's the Darkling showing me attention, and he's really hot. So, honestly, and she ends up kind of falling for him. And the war room scene was a lot spicier than I'd imagined it in the book. And I really felt it more than I did in the book, because I thought it was weird, because I was like, oh, she's gonna go to his room? Like, did I even feel that much of a connection between them in the book? But I think that the actors really like brought the chemistry to them. And there's a lot of discourse on Twitter about liking the toxic relationship and shipping Darkling and Alina, and how he's a villain and he's an awful person. Why do you ship that? This is the same conversation that comes up with dark romance all the time in the romance community. We like our villains, we like our bad boys, we like our dark romances, and people get mad at us for liking it. It's fiction. There's just something about the villain, the anti-hero, that we all love. That's why people love the Darkling. And so this is not a new conversation in the romance world. It's just a new conversation in the YA world that people are now getting angry about on Twitter and getting mad at Lee Bardugo about, which is dumb. Let people like what they want. If they want to ship Alina and the Darkling, did you see the war room scene? It's fine. I personally always love the best friend. I was Team Gale for the Hunger Games. I'm sorry. I think that their connection was just fantastic, and Mal he just fought to the very end. Like, he was crawling. He should have died like 5 times in this show, and he was literally crawling at the end to save Alina. I love him. I just love Mal. I'm Team Mal. I'm sorry. If that makes you want to end this video, I'm sorry, but I love Mal. And I love that romance. So I really love that tension between the love triangle. They did a great job building that up. But can we talk about Nina and Matthias? We would go episodes without seeing them, and I was just like, but where's Nina and Matthias? I love them. I don't know who they are. Honestly, any mention of them is just flown out of my head from the books. I don't remember them. I'm sorry. I have to reread Six of Crows. I messaged Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life because I know she's read them, and I was like, am I supposed to know who they are? Because I'm obsessed with their romance. I love a hate-to-love romance, and he literally despises her. He has been raised to hunt her down and kill her kind. Literally had kidnapped her in the beginning of the book, and they're forced to survive together in one bed and stay warm together, and they're falling for each other, and then the ending with them had me freaking out, and I'm like, put Nina and Matthias together, please. But then people are bringing up this Nikolai person. I've only read the first two, like I said. I don't know who Nikolai is. I don't know. And I don't know if they were talking about him with her or a different character, but I don't know. Something's happening later on in the books with romances, but I wanted that romance to happen so badly, and the way Nina was just like so playful with him and then finally got him to laugh was adorable, and I was freaking out over that little romance. I told you, I'm a romance obsessed person, and I will latch on to any romance you give me in anything, and that had me freaking out. So I loved that whole dynamic and that whole storyline with that romance, and I need more of it now. I did like the ending and the direction they took with the Darkling, because I don't remember that in the book. I really like the vengeful path the Darkling is on now, and that whole, how they did that whole scene. I don't want to say too much because in case you're here for a kind of spoiler-free thing. I don't think I'm getting into too many spoilers, but I did like the ending and how things were built up to that point, especially with Alina and what she does. That pretty much follows the books, which I really was happy about, and yeah, that's really all that I have. This isn't some in-depth analytical video of a super fan of the books. This is a romance reader gushing about all the romance in this show. I really enjoyed it. It was great, and I do think though they could have done a little bit more helping us understand in the beginning. My mom tried watching it and she said she was very confused by it. My dad watched it and he loved it, so I really enjoyed it. Having read the book so recently, I didn't mind the changes they made. I really enjoyed the changes they made. I liked how they put together the worlds that Leigh Bardugo has created with the different cast of characters. I really liked it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you've watched it, what your thoughts on the show are. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.